post and sill style of construction is just essentially a form of what you call timber framing. At Fort Nisqually, the timbers were hand-hewn timbers, which means they were made by the human hand with some real basic tools that have been around for a long time. To hew a timber, you need an axe, a broad axe, and an adze, and these tools all appear in Fort Nisqually's accounts. Now, to start the process, you first have to start out with a log. The trees were usually, or most likely, hewed on site. You would cut the tree down, hew it on site. In other words, there was no need to pull the log back into the fort, square it on site. Hewing a timber, again, uses very basic tools that have been around a long time. You have a plumb bob, which is an ancient tool that goes back way back in time. I'm sure the Egyptians used this. Your common square or tri-square, some type of a scribe, and this is an old chalk box, but chalk boxes, this is not a period chalk box at this time in the 1850s, but these too go way back in time. Any kind of string dumped in something like wood ash would work. So to square a log, you go to the end of the log. I'm at the large end. Normally they start at the small end, but I'm going to use the large end because your timber can only be as big as the small end dictates. So what you do is you take your plumb bob, and this will establish what's known as plumb, and you put it in the center of the log, and you scribe a line with your scribing tool. Then you come in with your square, and by putting it up to your scribed line, this now forms level. And you would do this across the length of the log. You do the same on the other end, and then between the 2 points that you've established out here, you run your chalk line and you snap your lines, and then you hew to the line to start the squaring process. And I'll quickly demonstrate how you would do that. What you would do is, and I'll just do it by sight here, you want to establish the depth of how much wood you're going to take off. So they would use, the timber framers would use two different methods. They'd either scribe by making a series of cuts to establish depth, such as this way. That's one method to establish depth. The other method was something called juggling. You can establish depth by juggling. Now between these 2 points, and you go on down the log, the entire length of the log, and cut your juggles to uniform depth, ending the cut at the hand-hewn line. The next process is to take your broad axe, and this is just a gravity tool. Basically it's oversized. You can't swing this like this, it's way too big, so you let gravity do the work. And what you do is you come in and you start taking off pieces that are juggled. as you can see, you start to get a flat surface here. You work on down the log to flatten your surface, and then you would finish the process by rolling the log up so the flat surface is up. Then you would finish with your adze. So imagine I'm standing on the flat surface now. I'm standing on this surface here, and the way you would make it flat and smooth is you would adze. You see the process. This is a planing tool. And everybody says, well, don't you ever hit your foot? And you can see, when you're adzing, you use shorter strokes, and if by some chance you miss, the adze will just go beneath your boot. And that's how you prevent injury. But you can see with an adze, you can start to develop a nice, flat surface. And that's basically hewing a log.